The recent standoff in the Strait of Hormuz demonstrated a lethal new reality in global conflict. You don't need to launch a full-scale invasion to cripple an opponent. You just need to stop their fuel. In this era of energy denial, a single ship stalled in dark, stagnant water can trigger an economic collapse thousands of miles away. Rival, China. This strategy centers on the Strait of Malacca. It is a narrow, crowded passage that serves as the only direct maritime link between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific. The geography here creates a natural vulnerability. At its most constricted point, the waterway is just 2.8 kilometers wide, a distance short enough to be monitored and blocked by even a modest naval presence. Despite that narrowness, the volume of traffic is immense. Nearly 40% of all global trade passes through this gap. It handles 55% of India's trade and, most critically, 80% of China's total crude oil imports. This month, during a quiet meeting at the Pentagon, the United States and Indonesia announced a major defense partnership. It was a diplomatic move with massive military implications. Through this deal, the U.S. is securing the access it needs to monitor and potentially sever the supply line that keeps the Asian economy running. The core of this agreement is surveillance. The U.S. is seeking blanket overflight rights, while simultaneously providing the technology to upgrade Indonesia's military radar and maritime monitoring infrastructure. This creates a layered, invisible net of data. By knowing the exact location, speed, and destination of every ship in the channel, the U.S. can maintain total awareness without needing to station a permanent fleet of warships in the strait. In the event of a conflict over Taiwan, this intelligence allows for immediate action. The U.S. wouldn't have to search for China's energy tankers. Their location would already be live on every American terminal. Total visibility over a bottleneck allows for the surgical application of force. When you know exactly which vessel is carrying an adversary's fuel, you don't need to hold the water. You just need to wait at the exit for the ship your sensors have already flagged. Beijing refers to this vulnerability as the Malacca Dilemma. It is a persistent strategic anxiety, the fear that their entire industrial machine could be shut down by a single regional blockade. China is attempting to counter this by mapping the seafloor across the Pacific and Indian Oceans and expanding a shadow fleet of tankers designed to move oil under the radar of international monitoring. Their most ambitious response involves overland bypasses. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is designed to move fuel from the Arabian Sea directly into China's Xinjiang province, avoiding the Malacca Strait entirely. This has led to massive investments in infrastructure hubs like the port in Gwadar, which is being outfitted with specialized cranes and deepwater berths to handle the redirected flow of trade. However, the logistics are difficult to justify. Terrestrial pipelines and mountain railways cannot physically transport the same volume of goods as a single fleet of ultra-large container ships. Despite billions spent on these detours, the sheer scale of China's trade means it remains geographically trapped by the bottleneck at Malacca. The commercial waters of the Indo-Pacific have hardened into an active zone of strategic deterrence. While the U.S. and China maneuver through diplomacy and infrastructure, India is already physically positioned at the entryway. India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands sit exactly at the western mouth of the strait. From this position, the Indian Navy can reach the entrance of the channel in less than 24 hours. To capitalize on this, the government is expanding the naval infrastructure at Campbell Bay and pushing forward with the Great Nicobar Project to turn these islands into a frontline military staging ground. This active naval presence allows India to monitor every vessel entering the strait from the west, creating a maritime gateway that China cannot easily bypass. Recognizing this geographic advantage, the U.S. administration has engaged in high-level discussions with New Delhi, signaling a push for a comprehensive security partnership in the Indo-Pacific. For Prime Minister Narendra Modi, this positioning offers massive strategic weight. India functions as a swing power, essential to the American containment strategy, yet independent enough to set its own terms. The silent war for the Malacca Strait has already begun. The nation that determines the passage of this 2.8-kilometer stretch will dictate the trade stability and energy security of the world's most powerful economies.